Welcome to In 5 Minutes. In the previous video, we have done some introduction to file handling. Now here we'll continue with the actual file handling operations. To begin with, we'll see what are the different steps we'll take to open and close the file and to handle the file. Now it will be not with practical example as such, we'll be just discussing some statements of C to handle the file. Now generally, to work with a file, what we can do is we'll open a file first. So the first step of your program to handle a file will be opening a file. Now there are two ways we can open a file. One is we can create an empty file and start working with the file, that is put some data into the file, or we can open existing file and do some modifications in the file or only read the file. Once the file is opened, we can go for next operation, which can be either reading a file, editing the contents of the file, or it can be adding new data to the file. Obviously, if the file is a empty file, we'll be only doing addition of data to the file. If it is already existing, we can read or edit or even add the content to the file. Now after these operations are done, that is once your job of the file is done, we can close the file, that is save the file. Now you can just imagine that you can work with any file, let's say text file, using Notepad or any text editor in two different ways. One is you can go to your folder, double click the existing file, that is you're opening a file which is existing. We can only read the file or edit the file and then save and close the file. Otherwise, you can just start a text editor, put some content in the file, and then you can save and close the file. Same way here also we'll be doing operations in C, but only thing is that when you're manually handling the file, you can really see text editor, and in that you're really typing with your hands into the file. Here in this case, our program is going to handle the opening of file, closing the file, and even transferring data from program to the file and data from file to program. So data transfer between file and program is not directly visible to the user of the program. So it is done in the background. Like we process array, variables, they are not visible on screen. Now let's see what are different functions we use to handle a file. Now like we have built-in functions for string handling, like string compare, string len, string concatenation. Same way for handling files, we have some built-in library functions, and they are present in common header file, that is stdio.h. So we need not include any special file for file handling. We can just do with stdio.h. Now the first function we'll see for opening a file is fopen. The function opens the given file into given mode. So fopen function requires two parameters. First is a file name, should be a string, and open mode should be again a string. The modes in general can be read or write or read and write both, but can be only append and so on. Now fopen function does one more task. It opens a given file in a given mode and it gives one pointer to you. It returns or it generates one pointer. That pointer is called as file handle. Now why it is called as file handle? Because once you open a file, to do any operations like reading, editing, adding data to file, even closing a file, we need to use this handle, that is that pointer. The next function in file handling is closing a file. The function name is Fclose. Now once the file is opened and processed, to close the file we have to use Fclose function. Now Fclose function has to mention which file to close. Now that is not mentioned as a file name, that is mentioned with the help of file handle, because once you open a file for performing any kind of operation, we have to use file handle variable and not the file name. So roughly we got some idea about handling a file.